Hello everyone, I thought I would make you a nice little video about this. This is the Kellam Wolverine and I'm dead chuffed with it. Quite stiff, but look at that thing of beauty. It's just been used for the first time to scrape some bark and send a spark or two into that fire. There it is. What an absolute beauty of a knife. It's got a curly birch handle, leather case. It's a typical Finnish pull cord design, and it's got this, I think they call it SPT technology, where they've got harder steel down the back, down the spine, than on the blade. So it gives it rigidity, but also that flexibility that you need. So it's extra strong, and I absolutely love it. I've had a number of bushcraft knives, and I'm going to show you them now, just to help you see what the differences are, and hopefully you can use that as a basis of comparison if you're looking to choose a bushcraft knife. So this is the first proper bushcraft knife I ever bought. It's a Mora Companion heavy duty high carbon steel. I hope that's picking up all right on there. It's seen a lot of use, this. One of the first things I did was flatten the spine to give it a 90-degree angle so you could get a spark off it. But yeah, it's pretty indestructible. Although having said that, I did manage to snap the tip off. I mean, I was abusing it, just trying to lever something, and ping, off it went. So I've had to reshape the top there, but it's not too bad. And yeah, very good steel, very comfortable handle, good all-round knife. And the only thing that's really gone wrong with this is the case is no longer as secure as it was. So that's not really what you want. It's not ideal to have your knife just falling out of the case. I know it's unlikely if it's the right way up, but still, yeah. And you know, it is quite plasticky at the end of the day, but still very useful. There are lots of times if I'm on a canoeing trip or something where it might get wet or get lost or something, I just want a rough and ready knife that I'm not too precious about. Good to have. So that's the Mora Companion. This looks much more impressive than it actually is. Tiny little carving knife, but boy is this thing sharp and great for carving projects. It really is. It didn't come in this sheath, that was a different knife, but I do make an awful lot of use for this, and I'm going to come back to it in a minute and explain why. So my main bushcraft knife really for many years is this Castrom. To be honest, I forget what model it is. That is a full tang, absolute beast of a knife. It's got a bog oak handle. Bog oak is like semi-fossilized oak, so it's very, very hard. Very comfortable. 9cm blade and about 5mm thick. And hopefully the light is picking up the grind on that. What that means is, although it is a Scandi grind, it's quite a, what's the word? It's got quite an angle on it. So it's quite chubby. It quite thickly becomes a thick piece of metal. And that is brilliant for battening, you know, because it splits very well. But for carving projects where you want to do fine work, I find this pretty hopeless. So as an all-rounder, it doesn't particularly suit my needs. It is really, really tough. I mean, I could hammer this into a tree trunk and use it as a step. I've no doubt about that. It's solid as a rock. It's got a nice sheath as well, and it comes with a little ferro rod built in as part of the sheath, which is, I suppose, a nice feature. But yeah, the story behind this knife is I ordered online a pucko, fairly cheap one. I think it might have been Wood Jewel or something like that, but it's not what came. There was first of all a bit of a delay with the order, and then when it came, they'd sent me a completely different knife, one which was worth about 3 times what I had paid for this pucko. It was this. So I thought, well, you know, shouldn't grumble. And, you know, I was going on a trip and so on, so I didn't have time to send it back. I needed the knife, and so I stuck with it. And it's good. It does have its uses. As I say, it's very reliable, very tough, but not great, in my opinion, as an all-rounder. If what you want to be doing is quite a lot of carving, or things like chopping up food, you know, vegetables and that kind of thing, it just splits them and they go flying across the campsite, which isn't ideal. So that's why I've tended to end up using this little carving knife, which came in one of those dead cheap sets. You get a, you know, a little like spoon knife and this and that in there, and it all rolls up in a little package. But yeah, I found this one much better for carving projects. Any fine work that you're trying to do compared with this. And so I'm hoping that this solves the problem, because the Wolverine is ostensibly going to be a much better all-rounder. It's got a very nice, comfortable handle. The tang, it's a full tang, but it's a prong tang all the way through. I think that that's strong enough. It's basically the same tang as, or the same design of tang as the Mora, and I think, you know, I've battened the hell out of this, never had any problems. So I'm hoping that this will be pretty good for light battening jobs at least. And what I'll do is simply carve a wedge and use that for any heavier battening jobs. I think that'll be fine, or use an axe. It's much lighter, and I think I'll have a lot more control, and for finer jobs, which is a lot of what I do, it's going to be great. It's also incredibly sharp. I've already tested it on paper and it goes just straight through it. So excuse me, I'm going to get this fire going properly because it's struggling. It's so cold and damp out here, but before it completely dies on me, let's rescue it. In these conditions, although you know, I was careful to just get dead standing wood that's hanging in the trees, so well off the ground, nevertheless it is damp, and cold, really cold. So that combination is the fire's worst enemy. So it just needs a bit of management. All right, we're good. Get a bit of warmth again. Lovely. So there you go. I'll give you a closer look at this knife. As you can see, that is a thing of beauty. And we'll have a go at a few tasks with it as well. Okay, so we've got a nice bit of willow here. Well, I say nice, it's not the most ideal carving wood really, but it's what's available. It's January, everything's damp like I said, and a lot of it, the wood around here is just either dead or dormant and not great, but this was sprouting and seems green enough, so let's try this. I might make a little pot hanger out of it, we'll see. Oh yeah. That is pretty impressive. That was very, very easy indeed. I made very light work of this piece of willow. I mean, I know willow is obviously pretty soft anyway. But yeah, I'll see if I can get a bit of hawthorn, as most of what's around here is willow and hawthorn, but yeah, perhaps I can get something else a little bit harder to try it on. Okay, so some hawthorn. See what short work that is making of things. I'm deeply, deeply chuffed with that. I think it's lovely. Really comfortable, very sharp, very effective. What's not to like? So there we go. Thanks for watching, folks.